3 landings, 1 VR headset and 1 questionable pilot behind the controls. Let's see how this goes. So today we're taking out the Pimax Crystal Super to fly 3 very different approaches. A relatively straightforward ILS landing into Heathrow, a curved RNAV into Nantes in France, and finally the windy monster that is runway 05 into Madeira, one of the trickiest approaches in Europe. Thanks to Pimax for sponsoring today's video. As we ramp up towards the holidays, they've got a ton of promos going on, so if you're in the market for a headset, then listen up. First up is their PCVR upgrade event, where until the end of 2025, if you've owned an earlier VR headset from another brand, if you can submit proof of purchase, you could unlock exclusive rewards or discounts towards a new Pimax VR headset. Next, we've got Pimax's early Black Friday sale. Until the end of October, you can get 10% off the Pimax Crystal Light or the Pimax Crystal Super. I'll leave my affiliate links down below. And finally, until the end of November, all Pimax Crystal Super buyers who order using the code Airnott at checkout will have a chance to win a second Crystal Super optical engine at half price. Right, I think that's it. Terms and conditions apply to all of that, of course. I'll leave my affiliate links in the video description for all the different various offers for you to learn more. And if you are going to purchase a VR headset from Pimax, using these affiliate links is a great way to support the channel at no additional cost to you. Right, now let's see how the Crystal Super, and to a large extent me, handles these landings. Let's go. Let's start at Heathrow, a busy patch of airspace, but once you've threaded the needle through London's airspace and are lined up on the approach, the landing itself is generally pretty straightforward. VR landings always make me stare a bit if I haven't done one for a while, so don't expect to be brilliant instantly if you're new to VR. It's a bit like if you've ever been on a flight simulation experience day. The first thing I noticed was just how different everything felt by having a physical cockpit versus having a cockpit that is just static on the screen in front of you. It's a totally different experience. All right, it's all looking mighty fine as we head in towards runway 27 left. The Crystal Super has more than 29 million pixels at work here, so it's no wonder. And it's also no wonder that you need a very substantial PC to get the most from it, but there's no denying it looks flipping good. You forget how liberating it is actually just being able to look out the window instantly with a VR headset on versus having to move your mouse and kind of drag the view around. Coming into land now, 2 whites, 2 reds on the pappies. Let's try and keep it that way. Winds are being quite kind to us this morning, which is something I'm always grateful for. Damn, I look good.
100.
Right, let's start the flare, but not too much.
20. Retard. 5.
Nice, right on the center line. A tad on the late side, but totally within limits. If you liked the landing, hit the like button. And if you didn't like the landing, well, hit the like button anyway, thank you. Clearly, I'm delighted as I'm nodding my head here in approval, forgetting that it's actually going to make the footage look terrible for you. So, yeah, sorry about that. Right, let's have some replays. Performance seemed solid on the way down. Keep in mind that this is the Phoenix A320 landing at Unibuild's Heathrow, both of which are pretty heavy-hitting add-ons in their own right, and that's before we try running it through a VR headset with more than 29 million pixels on the go. It's also worth noting that we're running Sim Update 4 beta, and so far the performance seems awesome compared to Sim Update 3. We're also running dynamic foveated rendering thanks to the Crystal Super's built-in eye tracking, which again just helps lighten that load on your GPU also. Right, I could watch replays of this all day, but it's time for us to step things up a notch, because we are heading to Nantes in France. Not the easy peasy ILS approach into runway 03. No, this is the RNAV approach into runway 21. This is an awesome approach where you kind of come in over the city following the Loire River, then right before touchdown you go visual and make a left turn into runway 21. Fairly gloomy weather here in Nantes this morning, to the point where the airport isn't yet visible despite being quite low and far into the approach. Luckily though, it does come into view just before we need to make our turn. Making turns like this and kind of visually lining yourself up with the runway, I really appreciate how VR gives you a real sense of depth. That's something that, playing on a monitor or a TV, it just never quite nails it. Okay, trying to keep it nice now on final And hold the flare. I feel like I'm going a little bit long here, but it should be smooth. And yeah, that's the stuff. Right on the money. It's a weird approach because in the cockpit it felt like we were making quite a substantial turn, but from the passenger's point of view it was quite sedate, and having flown this approach as a passenger in real life, I can tell you that I didn't notice the turn much either. Right, there's no putting it off any longer. We need to go to Madeira, the home of the crosswind. We'll be landing on the iconic runway 05 approach, where we'll turn in and track over the coastline before straightening up at the last minute as we touch it down and try to manage whatever winds the island has to throw at us along the way. And what better way to enjoy Madeira than in VR? So let's go, heading in towards the coast, and as we start the turn towards runway 05, things are looking quite good. Not a lot of room for error here. If you want a good time, by the way, connect to VATSIM in observer mode at Madeira and just do a bit of plane spotting. You'll see all sorts. Okay, we're getting serious now. Maximum concentration from yours truly. So 3 landings and 3 completely different experiences, but all incredibly enjoyable in their own way. If you've never tried VR before, it's a really hard thing to describe, because even as you watch this, you're most likely watching it on a regular screen of some kind, and you really do have to experience VR to fully understand it. I was a bit of a VR skeptic for some time prior to Pimax being kind enough to send out one of their headsets for us to borrow on the channel, but there's absolutely no doubt in my mind now that it is an incredible way to enjoy Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we've been using the Crystal Super, the latest and greatest, but there is also the Crystal Lite as well, which is lighter on the wallet and lighter in terms of the demand it puts on your PC. We've got full reviews of both the Lite and the Crystal on the channel if you want to learn more. Thank you again to Pimax for sponsoring today's video. It's definitely a pinch myself moment, considering that my work, in air quotes, for today was to play with a VR headset in Flight Sim. So yeah, thank you to Pimax for that, and thank you to you all for watching. I really couldn't do it without you all. Until next time though, you all take the very best care of yourselves, be good to each other, and as always, happy flying.